Happy hump day. We got a full 15 game slate. Let's talk some scene. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that's right, we are back to talk some more MLB action. A 3-3 day, a ho-hum, pretty much break-even 3-3 day yesterday. We'll go over the full recap in a bit. Should have at least been 4-2, that's for sure. But either way, we're still trying to grind out of this hole we've been in the last few days. Quick reminder, NBA Best Bets video for Game 3 of the NBA Finals is out now on a nice little 4-1 run to start those finals. So it's Dinger Tuesday winner time. We got to announce it, and this is wild. We have 3 guys that tied for the win. They all hit Alec Thomas of the D-backs at plus 1,000 or right around there. Congrats to at Tire Savage, at the GYDK, and at Ned Stark 5056. We're not going to have a showdown or anything. You guys just reach out to me if possible on X or Discord. I'll try to get you in the YouTube comment as well. But let me know what you want, the 1 month of Outlier or the $20. So thank you guys, by the way, for participating. Always fun to go through those. But Outlier, any graphics you see in this video are from that incredible app. I use this every single day. It's the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So we're going to dig deep on an MLB fun fact, something you guys probably don't care at all about, but hey, maybe it'll help you with some trivia. Here we go. In a minor league game on May 13th, 1952, see, it's already really important, 19-year-old Ron Nachil struck out 27 batters in 9 innings for a no-hitter, or a perfect game, really. 27 batters. That is absolutely insane. Obviously, the only time it has ever happened, but it was the minor league. So, in this video, we're going to recap yesterday, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups, give you the best pitcher strikeout matchups, go over the entire 15-game pitcher report, and of course, we will end it with our best bets and the recap. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Helps this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, come join this awesome community and hit that subscribe button. But let's get this party started, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is, a 3-3 day. Here's the separation. 3-0 on the video plays, 0-3 on the added plays. If only I didn't have a computer or phone after the video, we'd be 3-0 today. Max Fried under 2.5 earned runs, and Palmquist no to record a win. Fried was a little scary. He did give up 2 earned runs because he went so deep into the game, but still clutched up there. And Palmquist no win because he only went 4 innings. So after that, when he was taken out, it was a no-sweat winner there. Reds first 5 innings money line 1-0. They should have scored more than 1. They had rally after rally, but they got the job done in the 5th inning. And of course, the Guardians didn't hit a lefty for the 85th time in a row. Over 8.5 runs. Mariners D-backs some massive CLV there. It moved to 9.5 because Brian Wu got scratched for Logan Evans, and we cashed it because the D-backs scored 1,000,000 runs. Lawrence Butler, Ketel Marte 1+ hit each. I continue to have horrendous luck. I am elite, and I mean elite, at cooling off sizzling hot hitters. Lawrence Butler goes hitless, and he was left on deck in the 10th inning, and the Angels scored. He did not get a chance in the 11th. Just brutal, guys. I cannot win a hitter parlay to save my freaking life. Sandy Alcantara under 17.5 outs. He actually did it again. This is our first loss on that because the Pirates were horrendous. That's my fault for trusting the Pirates offense, but they've been a little bit better lately. And then I watched some of their at-bats versus Sandy, and O'Neal Cruz looks terrible, and other guys do. It was just brutal. But this was the one that hurt. I tried for the first time 3 guys to get under a half RBI. 3 guys that practically never get an RBI. They are 9-hole hitters, 8-hole hitters. Scott, easy. Waters, easy. Maldonado, 0 for 2. He has his 3rd at bat, and guess what? He's leading off the inning. Beautiful. It is so hard to get an RBI. He hits a solo flipping bomb. His 7th home run in his last 224 at bats in the last 2 years, and that's his RBI. I have no words. Again, I will try these under RBI parlays as well if I see some good value there, but I don't know what else to say, guys. All I can do is laugh. It's baseball. It's tough. Again, 3-3 day, though. You know, it's better than, obviously, a losing day. But we'll move on. Hopefully, we can get a hot streak rolling here soon. That's what we got for the recap. But now let's talk the hitter matchups. All right, here we go. We have a little over 1 page of good hitter matchups for you today. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we got some really good ones, including Francisco Lindor, 5 for 13 off Jake Irvin. And then you go over to the right side, though. How about Ryan O'Hearn, 6 for 11 with a couple Jimmy Jacks off of Casey Mize. And then Zach Neto of the Angels, 5 for 10 with 2 home runs off JP Sears. Joe Adell, his teammate down there, 3 for 9. Logan Ohape, 3 for 9 as well against JP Sears. Then we see Devers there, 3 for 10. Michael Garcia's been swinging a hot bat as well. But yeah, that's what we got. A couple Mariners over there on the left. J.P. Crawford, 5 for 15. Rosarena, 4 for 13 off of Eduardo Rodriguez. So take a screenshot. That's what we got for page 1. Now let's take a look at page 2. Elliot Ramos, 3 for 9. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Judge, 4 for 7 with a bomb off of Chris Bubich, who I think might have the lowest ERA in the major leagues right now. And then Paul Goldie Goldschmidt, 3 for 7 off of Bubich as well. So that's what we got for all the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups. And, we don't have too many huge name guys. Kyle Tucker, though, 1 for 14 with 4 Ks off Luzardo. Not a crazy surprise there. Lefty. Then Pete Alonso, 1 for 13 with 5 Ks off Jake Urban. How? I have no idea. Urban has been struggling lately, so we'll see what happens there. But then we got Taylor Ward, a couple Angels, and Luis Rengifo struggling off of JP's here. So that's what we got for all the hitter matchups. Now let's talk some strikeouts. All right, we got 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups. This first one, a smaller sample size, maybe a sneaky one, we'll find out. But David Festa versus the Rangers. Rangers' 3rd highest strikeout rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks at 25.1%. They're climbing the ladder. Festa, 21 Ks in 16.2 innings. Like I said, small sample size. So, take this for what it's worth. But he's only had 4 starts. 6, 5, 6, and 4 Ks in those. But again, remember, he's not pitching deep into games. His pitch count is rising. I think he got into the 80s last start, but it started in the 60s. So, we're talking 6, 5. He had like 5 or 6 Ks in a couple starts where he didn't even have a high pitch count. And then lower K rate at home, 26.8% versus 31.6 on the road. Again, 4 games. How much can you take a splits? And then higher K rate versus lefties so far, 30.6 compared to 25.6. So that's what we got. Now, small sample size, but last year he had a 27.8% K rate, and he has around a 28 right now. So, it's pretty similar numbers. We've seen it for a while now. And then the lefty, Robbie Ray at the Rockies. Colorado, 9th highest K rate versus lefties, 27%. Ray, 87 Ks in 77.1 innings. He has 7 or more strikeouts in 5 straight starts, 9+ in 2 straight. Higher K rate on the road, 30.8 compared to 26.7 at home. And then the higher K rate versus righties, 29.3 compared to 26 versus lefties. He had 8 Ks in 7 innings versus Colorado earlier this year, but remember that was in San Fran. K numbers and everything, all numbers, can get a little funky in Colorado, so just take that for what it is, but just want to let you know. And those are the 2 best pitcher strikeout matchups we have. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the first 8 matchups of the day, and we start bright and early with Cal Quantrill versus Bailey Falter. Quantrill's been, okay in the last month or so. Been pretty decent. Bailey Falter finally had a rough start after just dominating. He gave up 4 earned runs in just 3.2 innings versus Philly. Other than that, though, he's been pretty solid, so I wouldn't take too much into that. And now he's at home in a good matchup. Ben Brown hit and miss this year with some good and bad starts. 6+ Ks, though, in 4 of his last 5 starts. And Luzardo has just come off 2 or 3 of his worst starts of the season and career. It's been ugly, but you know what? We also saw him flash some brilliance, so we'll see what we get there. And Nick Lodolo, hey, another lefty versus the Cleveland Guardians. Lodolo, 3 or lesser in runs in 6 straight starts and also been a lot better away from Cincinnati. Schwellenbach, inconsistent this year, 4 Ks last game after 11 in back-to-back. But, he's got all the stuff to be absolutely nasty. And then Patrick, we've talked about him many times. The rookie just continues to limit runs. He just gets the job done. No pitcher for Toronto going up against Matthew Liberatore. Liberatore, he's hit a wall in his last 2 starts, giving up 11 earned runs in his last 9 innings, giving up 2 or less earned runs in 8 straight before that. So we'll see if he can turn it back around. But then we got Brian Wu versus Eduardo Rodriguez. We will talk about that one later. And then JP Sears versus Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks is not good. Not good. Exactly 3 to 4 earned runs given up in 6 straight starts and cannot miss a bat to save his life. And then Robleski versus Vasquez. Robleski, this will be his 4th start. How about 12 earned runs allowed so far in his 15 innings? And Vasquez, a guy who has somehow limited runs for the most part. I don't get it. He has a horrendous K rate. Look at his K rate and walk rate are literally identical. You cannot convince me this is going to keep up all season. Against the Dodgers, this could be one of those blow-up starts. So that's what we got for the first page. Now let's take a look at the second page. We got Casey Mize. He's made 3 starts since his return from injury, giving up 6 earned runs in 13 innings with 18 hits allowed and only 7 Ks. So he hasn't exactly come back dominating. Going up against Zach Eflin of Baltimore. Again, another low K guy, but really good command, 3.8% walk rate. And then Jake Irvin versus David Peterson. Irvin, 18 hits and 9 earned runs given up in his last 10 innings. It has not been good for him. And then David Peterson, how about 3 or less earned runs in all 11 starts? a 2.91 ERA, limiting hard contact, just pitching really well. And then Zach Littell versus Ferris Bueller. Ferris is struggling. 17 hits and 10 earned runs allowed in his last 7.2 innings. 10 runs, 7.2. It has been ugly. And then Jack Leiter versus Festa. The problem with Leiter is his walks, but guess what? He's calmed down a little bit. Last 2 starts, only 3 total walks in those 10.2 innings, and it was not a surprise. Only 1 earned run allowed in those 2 starts. And then David Festa, we just talked a little bit about the case. Small sample size, still giving up some hits and hard contact in only 16.2 innings. And then Clark Schmidt versus Bubic. Schmidt's been decent overall, exactly 2 to 3 earned runs allowed in 5 of last 6 starts. Bubic giving up 1 or less earned runs in 6 straight starts, a 1.43 ERA. That is absolutely insane. And then Burke versus Gusto. Not a great pitching matchup here. Advantage Burke, in my opinion, but not pitching deep into games is Gusto. Good for about 4 innings and 2 earned runs pretty much every time, maybe 3. And then Robbie Ray, just been absolutely dialed in. He's going much deeper into games. 6+ innings in 8 straight starts, guys. 7+ innings in 3 of the last 4. Absolutely elite right now, and he's going into Colorado to face Kyle Freeland, just another one of Colorado Rockies' terrible starting pitchers. So that's what we got for the whole entire pitcher report and all the research help. Now it's time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us back out to the desert where the Diamondbacks host the Seattle Mariners. Mariners on the money line -118, D-backs on the money line -103 with a total of 9 runs. This is kind of the same bet as yesterday. Give me the over 9 runs, -105 on FanDuel. Half unit play for me here. When I say the same play, because Brian Wu is pitching today, but he was supposed to pitch yesterday on Monday, and he got scratched. So we just have him here. And the total went from 8.5 to 9. Not a huge I mean, it is a big difference, 8.5 to 9, but I still like the over 9. Again, if it lands on 9, then we push. The only difference is Eduardo Rodriguez is now on the mound instead of Brandon Pfaadt. So let's talk about this matchup. I'm going to repeat Wu from yesterday because, again, we talked about this already in the best bets. Struggled last 3 starts compared to normal. Excuse me, losing my voice. Last 3 starts, giving up 9 earned runs and 20 hits. Baltimore, Minnesota, and Houston. He has also not pitched in tough road games, like we talked about yesterday. Only difficult road matchups. At Houston, gave up 10 hits. At Oakland, in a minor league park, gave up 8 hits and 5 earned runs. Boston gave up 2 earned runs, but Boston didn't hit well back then, and they don't hit well at home. But at the Giants, gave up 4 earned runs. On the road overall this year, 3.5 ERA, still pretty decent with a 2.34 average against, but compared to at home with a 2.5 ERA and a 1.97 average against, he does struggle more versus lefties. This is why I talked to you yesterday about why I like this matchup. Giving up a 2.31 average to lefties and a 4.33 slugging compared to, and his xFIP also is 4.19 versus lefties compared to just 2.92 versus righties. And then Rodriguez, he is hot garbaggio, guys. 6.7 ERA, 16th percentile for ground ball rate. He is getting hit very hard in his last 6 starts. How about 27 earned runs and 27.2 innings? He is handing out a run per inning. That's wild. When you wake up, just know that Eduardo Rodriguez has already given up a couple runs. Now the offenses, Mariners slumping lately, obviously, but better on the road. On the road versus lefties now. It's not a righty like yesterday. 12th WRC plus, 15th slugging, 5th highest batting average. Like I always say, they hit better away from T-Mobile Park. I think they get some runs off Eduardo like everyone does. And then the D-backs, like I talked about yesterday, we know how good they can be. The last 3 weeks versus righties been about average, but overall this season they're a top 5 offense. And they have the lefties to hit Brian Wu. Corbin Carroll, Josh Naylor, Pavin Smith, Alec Thomas. Like I mentioned, Wu does struggle more with lefties, and they swing the bat really well. You just saw it in their first home game. They're bouncing back from a tough weekend series. Bullpens, both in decent shape. D-backs are not a good bullpen. Mariners got some arms with Munoz and Brash and that kind of thing, but either way, it's nothing that really scares me off. So overall, we got 2 offenses that can really get to these starting pitchers, in my opinion. A good hitting environment. A 4-4 tie doesn't give us a win, but it gives us a push at the very least. Either of these teams could go absolutely bonkers, like we just saw Arizona yesterday. So give me the over 9 as my first best bet. All right, this second one takes us out to Camden Yards where the Orioles host the Detroit Tigers. Orioles moneyline -110, Tigers moneyline -110. We got to pick them here with a total of 9 runs. I got a pitcher prop. Give me Casey Mize under 16.5 outs recorded at -125 on DraftKings for a half unit. So Casey Mize, like we mentioned a little bit in the pitcher report, he has struggled mightily since his return from injury. He just doesn't seem right when you watch him pitch. In his 3 starts since his return, less than 5 innings in all 3 of them, 7 walks and 18 hits allowed in those 13 innings. 25 base runners in 13 innings is not good. And by the way, it was against the White Sox, Royals, and the Guardians. That's not good either. His pitch count in those 3 games, This is why he didn't go deep early, but he pitched 77, 79, and then he got stretched out to 93 pitches last one. So he is more stretched out. Maybe they cut it back a little bit, but he still went under 5 innings, even with 93 pitches. On the road this season, a 3.9 ERA compared to 1.5 at home. So you want to fade him on the road. Almost double the walk rate on the road as well. And for a guy who's already struggling with his command, you like to see that for an under outs. He looked really good to start the season. So when you look at his overall numbers, you think, well, this guy's gone over quite a bit. You know what? I'm going off to his form from his injury. Like I said, he just doesn't look right. Again, any pitcher can all of a sudden turn it around, as we saw George Kirby do with 50,000 Ks in his last matchup. But facing the Orioles, finally swinging a little bit better. Trusting them can be dangerous. I understand that. The Orioles have let me down over and over again, but they can hit a little bit better at home. And in the last month versus righties at home, they're top 15 in WRC plus slugging. Nothing incredible, but again, better when they are at home. And as long as they have good approaches and aren't just chasing pitches everywhere, because Casey Mize will have some command issues based on what we've seen lately. I think they can get to Mize. And then finally, the weather. I'm losing my voice. It's late. Excellent hitting conditions. Wind blowing slightly out and mid 80s temperatures. You love to see it. The total is 9 for a reason. I expect some runs. I almost went the over 9 in the game, but instead I'll go Casey Mize under 16.5 outs recorded. That is my second and final best bet right now. The night before, I had a busy night. Just ran out of time to try to get you guys a third bet, but I'm not quite done. Let's talk some hitters. All right, let's talk a couple hitters that I like today. Again, I haven't bet these yet, but just a couple I wanted to talk through. The first one, Vinny Pasquantino on a 10-game hit streak for the Royals. 1+ hit in 18 of his last 20. He's on an absolute scorcher. Over 1.5 bases in just 5 of his last 10. Over 1.5 HRRs in 9 of his last 10. Hits righties much better. A 302 average versus righties, and he's facing Clark Schmidt, who struggles versus lefties quite a bit. A 4.63 xFIP versus lefties, a lower K rate, giving up a 242 average and a 475 slugging to lefties, compared to only a 296 slugging to righties. I like Pasquatch to stay hot here. So the second one, Ryan O'Hearn of the Orioles. He has 1+ hit in 6 of his last 10. Nothing special there. But again, 1+ hit now in 32 of 46 games versus a righty starter. He has a 333 average against righties, 545 slugging, 174 WRC plus, 100s average. One of the best hitters in the majors versus right-handed pitching, to be honest with you. And he's facing Casey Mize. You saw it earlier. He has the best matchup today. He is 6 for 11 off of Casey Mize with 2 bombs. Absolutely love that matchup. And like we mentioned, great weather, great hitting conditions there in Baltimore as well. So those are 2 hitters I like. My best bets, all the research help I have for you before we get out of here. Let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. The 2 best bets so far. Again, more plays will be coming. Added plays in the pinned comments below on X and on Discord. The over 9, Seattle, Arizona, -105 for a half unit. And then Casey Mize under 16.5 outs recorded at -125. Thank you guys for watching. As always, really appreciate it. Can't wait to dig out of this little cold streak we've had here. But again, go check out that NBA Finals Best Bets video as well for Game 3. Hope you guys all have a great Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.